Witches Hill.
Hello and welcome back to Witches Hill. I am Pat. I am here with Tim and
Tim. Multiple M's.
Like 4.
Enunciate them all.
And we're going to bring back the Lucky 7's.
Lucky 7's.
Those of you who have seen it before have seen it on the YouTube. The YouTube. Not YouTube.
The
YouTube.
YouTube.
Capital U, capital tube.
Yeah.
Yeah. And today we are going to bring you dark experiments that have been done throughout history.
And we pretty much just made like a big ass list, and Pat just kind of picked out some of the I don't know what I want to say best, but
I wouldn't say the best, but definitely some fucked up ones.
Okay, the most fucked up. There you go.
Yeah,
'cause these are not good.
Well, not by any standard are any of these experiments good. I mean, I guess there's been some payoff, but like, holy fuck! Out of 18 that we had written down, we had to pick 7 of them, and these are the 7 that we came across.
So I guess let's start from the lowest, work our way up. So why don't you read us the number 7 dark experiment?
The Herrenberg murders. In 1827, there was next to nothing in the medical field as for like cadavers and corpses, and there was always like a really bad, shortage of.
I was gonna say stench.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was a horrible stench, but only when they were able to, acquire the bodies. But because there was such a, I guess, non-plethora of bodies, in order to kind of advance in this field, William Hare and William Burke, from 1827 to 1828, ended up smothering over 12 lodgers, and for some reason, I was about to say babies, at a boarding house. And then sold the corpses to, wait, what?
I guess it would have been worse if it was babies.
Yeah, probably would be. Like, why do you keep getting all these babies? Just like, don't worry about it. Just keep buying. Keep buying.
We just need these babies.
Yeah, we just need them. But they ended up selling the corpses to an anatomist. Wow, I can't even fucking say that. An anatomist. Wow.
There you go.
Fuck me.
Can't
Robert Knox. Robert Knox is the guy. In a book by Mary Roach called Stiff, The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers.
God, that just shows our fucking maturity right there.
Said that Knox apparently either didn't care or didn't notice that the bodies he was receiving were always fresh. As anyone would say back then, for science!
I mean, I guess, but yeah. Fresh, huh? That's the adjective.
Yeah, fresh. It's like Subway fresh, but not quite. They didn't have Subways back then.
Well, that's fucked up.
That's super fucked up. But that was number 7. We still have 6 more. So Tim will be taking us through number 6.
This is electroshock therapy on children in the 1960s.
Really?
Yes. I'm just reading off your script, and I just love how it starts off. It's the 1960s, and life is grand.
Oh, when I wrote this, I was doing my narrator thing in my head, like, it's the 1960s.
And life is grand. Okay, that makes so much sense.
Right? Like, that's what you're like, oh, okay.
All except for your children, apparently, who seem to be exhibiting odd behavior. Could they be depressed? Have other emotional issues? Perhaps they were born with a mental problem. Well, What? I don't know if I want to edit that one out.
What? Oh, fuck.
There it is. All right, well.
Yeah, autocorrect.
Well, the only solution wasn't so simple back then. In fact, Dr. Loretta Bender of Creedmoor Hospital in New York took upon herself to ignite what she'd call a revolution for psychiatric care in children. This already sounds frightening.
Yeah.
Just the way that's set up is just like, we're going to do some fucking fucky shit.
Oh, totally.
Her method was none other than electroshock therapy. or electroconvulsive therapy. Oh boy. She herself apparently a victim of being misunderstood as a child. Some of her methods were to take a socially sensitive child in front of a large group and interview them, then would apply a small amount of pressure to the child's head. Reportedly, if a child moved from the pressure, it meant an early sign of schizophrenia. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, this is the 60s, Tim.
This is the 60s. You listen to how we do stuff.
Oh my god. Oh, you're scared of people? I'm putting you in front of people.
Are you gonna shake, little one?
Jesus Christ. She was known to be very unsympathetic towards the children, obviously. By the time she had concluded her work, over 100 children fell victim to her experiments. The youngest of the children was only fucking age 3.
Yeah, it was really young.
ECT is still used today in 2018 and a strong source for severely depressed patients and those who experience psychosis, suicidal thoughts, or who refuse to eat.
Yeah, if you don't have an appetite, I'm gonna fucking shock you.
How does that make sense?
I don't know.
Fuck. Well, with that said, back then there wasn't much room for ethics in the psychiatric field, clearly. There is an ongoing debate that ECT is causing brain damage and memory loss in the patients it's used on. And I could not imagine giving my kid away for that. Who in this day and age would be like, yeah, that sounds great.
It was like, oh yeah, he's really severely depressed. I think you should electrocute the shit out of his face.
Yeah, just shock him a bit, you know?
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, he's good. I'm gonna write him down for a number 7.
This fucked.
All right, moving on to wait, that wasn't number 7. That was number 6. Oh my god, where's my child? Anyway.
Apparently it's getting shocked because it didn't want to have its fucking meat before it had the pudding.
Yeah, obviously. How can you have your meat if you don't eat your pudding? What?
It's just...
It doesn't make sense.
I know. What kind of backwards-ass world are you living in?
It's like the Wookiee defense.
Pudding before meat. Come
Okay,
on.
do not come from Endor.
Okay, so number 5 is Project QK Hilltop. Project QK Hilltop. It was a project to gain entrance into the human mind to see if they could control a person against their will and to see how far they would go. For this, they were inspired by the ancient Chinese brainwashing technique. Dr. Harold G. Wolf was the man leading this project. He is known as the father of modern headache research, as well as being a pioneer in the study of psychosomatic illness. Insert laugh track here. They apparently had 4 steps to complete in order to gain the whole brainwashing technique. As said on apsitediscovery.weebly.com, 1. Assault on identity. You are not who you think you are. Systematic attacks on someone's sense of self. You are not a person. You are not a man. Under constant attacks for days, weeks, and months.
Now I'm a man.
No, you turn that song off and you put on Barbie World.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie
Perfect.
world.
2. Guilt. Making a person feel bad by attacking and saying that they are constantly sinning. Like saying, you are an evil fucking person.
You have the devil inside of you.
And then number 3, self-betrayal. Agreeing that you are bad or therefore not good. From there, they would cause physical and mental harm. Also going along with the line saying that your family and friends are also doing bad. The questions of... Or actually, number 4, the questions of, am I really me? Where am I? Who am I? Undergo emotional breakdown. At this point, the agent makes or tries to convert the person to another belief system, and therefore to save them. And leaving them with really no self-identity. And questioning things about themselves.
That sounds very cult-like. That's
Totally.
That's like cult mentality right there.
Oh, fuck. Well, I mean, that's what cults do. They try to brainwash you. Like, oh, you need to
Exactly.
believe this.
Separate you from your family.
Believe in the goat turtle.
Anyway, the prefrontal cortex, or PFC, interior part of the frontal lobes, this region plans complex cognitive behavior, personality expression, decision-making, and monitoring social behavior. Essentially, this is what is being washed away during the experiment. However, brainwashing doesn't fully take over you. it just kind of like puts a layer on top of you, for a lack of better words. There is a way to kind of bring yourself back, but you have to figure out who you once were in order to regain your self of identity. And it's just kind of fucked up knowing that this is an ancient technique.
So people have been doing this for a long time.
Oh, fuck yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Grandma always was weird.
Grandma.
Ah, you little piece of shit. Get on my altar.
Fuck. All right, so we're just going to chug along now to, what is this, number 4? Number 4 is Operation Midnight Climax. Oh, God, it sounds like every bro's mission every night at the bar.
What's up, man? You gonna get some puss?
I'm hoping to smash some puss, bro.
Oh, fuck yeah, Kappa. Oh, shit. Anyway.
So by now, I think it's pretty safe to say with everything released, if you are willing to blindly trust the government, you're more or less setting yourself up. Come on now. Come on. In order for the government to extend the grip of MK Ultra, the mind control program back in, what was that, the 50s?
Yeah, 1953 to 1964 is when all this shit was going on.
Well, in order to keep it going, they created the offshoot OMC, or Operation Midnight Climax. Such a badass name. Now, all of this was spawning off the fact that during wartime, communists would explore the use of LSD, heroin, and sodium pentothal on U.S. POWs. So this obviously in turn meant the U.S. had to explore the same dark corners of science. 'Cause why the fuck not, apparently. Now, working women of the night, who are on the government's payroll, would lead their so-called customers to government safe houses. There, the subject would then be administered LSD in high doses, without the consent, of course, in order to monitor their reactions and behaviors. The alcohol these women would give their clients was heavily laced with LSD, completely hidden. Holy shit.
Sorry. Oh, wait.
I'm just saying all the fucking drugs they're giving out.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking wild times. Now, Dr. Sidney Gottlieb?
I don't know how to pronounce that, right?
I'm going to say that. Now,
Gottlieb.
Sure. They were in charge of many of these experiments. This monster of a doctor would often become cynical, locking victims in sensory deprivation chambers while they were tripping their balls off. Oh my God.
Yeah.
One of the noted forms of torture was the doctor would take recordings of psychiatric patients telling their most self-degrading statements and play them on a loop, but only after the victim was restrained and had headphones. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, total torture method, man.
Fuck. This essential kidnapping of citizens didn't start until the volunteers had ceased to gain momentum, clearly. The experiments were highly illegal and was initially established by Dr. George Hunter White under the CIA alias Morgan Hall. Now, how did the men keep this a secret? Well, they specifically chose men who would be too embarrassed to expose the project due to fear of the public finding out about their involvement with a call girl. Really? Yeah, I guess it's wise, I guess. You know, it wasn't until 1975 that a report released to the public about the government being less than upstanding was revealed, bringing light to this horrific experiment. Fuck.
Yeah, it took some time for shit to come to light, as with most shit that the government does. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's some dark shit. Here, you're going to take all this acid, and then you are going to
listen to every bad thing you've ever done over and over.
Well,
while you're restrained.
I don't know if it was them, like, because this was just like people who were taken to a safe house and then administered the drug. Like, this was unwilling, so I don't think they had tapes from them, but like other psychiatric patients, like if they had something like really horrible, they would record it and then make that person listen to it while they're peeking in a dark room where they don't know where they are.
That's
Yeah, that's totally fucked. And that what was that? That was number 4.
Yeah, that was number 4, so it only gets worse from here.
Well, I guess that brings us to a place you should probably never go, or never would probably go back in the day. Talking about North Korea.
I still wouldn't want to go there.
I mean, I'd like to check it out, but not for this reason. Especially being on this list. As at number 3, I'm not going there for this reason. Many stories told from defectors tell of atrocious human experiments. Being damn near completely barred from the world, we can only imagine what disturbed things they've done. But there's a notable few from survivors and defectors. There's a story from a defected prison guard who speaks of medical operations on prisoners without anesthetic, saying that the practicing medical students would get drunk before actually doing so. In some cases, they'd hit the victim over the head with a hammer, leaving them in a zombie-like trance. It's at this point that there's no further use for them other than target practice. Fucked up, because this shit's happening as we speak.
Yeah.
Like, this shit literally could be happening right now. Nobody fucking knows because it's North Korea. They are so secluded. But along with that, there's something called Camp 22, which is a modern-day concentration camp. The prisoners and their whole families can be held until death. The guards are free to kill them if they deem it necessary. So, for an example, imagine that one person in a family goes to leave, and they like defect. They are apparently able to go out and kill that entire family, like the entire everybody, your grandma, your great grandma, your aunt, your cousin. Like they'll fucking slaughter you.
Jesus.
They will erase your entire everything. Like just fuck your family tree up. The guards are taught or brainwashed into believing that the prisoners or the enemy must be eradicated, which is a very Hitler way of doing things.
Yeah.
The last one we'll bring up for this particular is a particularly cruel and overall fucked up way to torture someone. They put you in a room that fills with water up to the point you have to be on your tiptoes to breathe. You have to stay like that for 24 hours. You obviously drown if you're too weak to do so.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah, that's like something that you'd see in like a James Bond training movie. or like The Kingsman.
The Kingsman?
Yeah, that movie was fucking badass. But yeah, something similar along the lines of that. But that was number 3.
Oh my god. All right, well, chugging along now, moving up to number 2, and we're going to Unit 731. Now, this was during World War II. It was a laboratory of hellish proportions. Most of the victims would never leave, remaining with the mysteries of many of the experiments conducted. The U.S. Army knew about the experiments and covered it up in exchange for medical data. Crimes against humanity, those people responsible still have yet to be held accountable. Around 200,000 people were fucking killed. Now, testimony about 731 from the Japan Times on October 1st in 1997 is as follows. An 84-year-old former Imperial Japanese Army police officer who was stationed in Japan's puppet state of Manchuria during World War II told the Tokyo District Court on October 1st that the Army conducted germ warfare experiments on innocent Chinese civilians. Yukita Mio spoke before the court for Chinese plaintiffs who filed a lawsuit against the Japanese government in 1995, claiming members of the family were killed by experiments. Now, the plaintiffs are demanding an apology and 20 million yen each in damages from the Japanese government. Now, Mio said that as a military policeman in 1944, he took 4 Chinese men, 2 of whom he believes were innocent, to the Army's Unit 731 in Dalian?
I think that's how you say it.
I hope so.
We're sorry.
He confirmed that one of the 2 men was Wang Yaoxan, father of Wang Yiping, one of the plaintiffs. Now, quoted, "I have to say that my act of taking innocent men to Unit 731 should be regarded as murder," end quote. He was crying in court, also stating, "I should be called a murderer. He said his police unit arrested Chen Delong in 1943 for spying for the Soviet Union because Chen mentioned the names of Wang Yaxan and Wang Yaxin as his colleagues during the interrogation. Miu and his subordinates also arrested the two men. The two remained mute, but my boss told me that the reason why they kept silent was because they were high-ranking members of the Chinese Communist Party, Miu said. So I kept torturing them. I made them lay down, I covered their mouths, tied their arms and legs, put handkerchiefs on their noses, and dumped water on them. Unable to breathe, they screamed, "Okay, I will tell you," but we didn't get anything that could connect them with spying. Then, acting on the orders of his superior, Mio took the two men by train to Unit 731 in Dalian. He said, like other Army police officers, Mio did not know exactly what Unit 731 was doing at the time, but he knew that the men he took there would never return alive. He said 104 Army policemen who were taken to war criminal detention facilities after World War II confessed they had sent a total of 504 Chinese to Unit 731. Taking into account the fact that there were more than 5,000 Imperial Japanese Army policemen in Manchuria during the war, he said he estimates that more than 3,000 Chinese were victims of Unit 731's biological experiments. From 1933 to 1936, the Japanese Army conducted biological experiments on men from local anti-Japanese militia groups who were captured. He said, "I hope my testimony will help let the Japanese people know that the Army did during Japan's aggression in China." Now, lawyers for the plaintiffs said that it may be the first time that a former Japanese military official has testified before a Japanese court about Japan's atrocities in China.
Damn.
That got to be a tongue twister at the end.
Well, that was a straight up testimony from somebody who was there and actually did shit.
Yeah, that was a direct clipping from. It looks like it's direct clipping from the newspaper.
Yeah, that's where I found it. It was literally on the Japan Times. Yeah, it's the Japan Times. Yeah.
So fucked.
Yeah, and that was number 2. Before we get to number 1, you should definitely take a gander down at the comments and put what you think number 1 is there. Yeah?
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 Yeah, what do you think it's gonna be?
Whoa, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I know, but do you know?
I know.
Do you know?
I know.
Oh, you know.
I know how to go to
Okay,
number 1.
now that we're at the number 1.
Wait.
What?
Let's give some honorable mentions.
I guess.
Yes.
All right. Honorable mentions. Spider Goat.
I love this. Spider goat. The government made a spider goat.
They made a mix between a spider and a fucking goat.
Why?
I didn't get all the information about it. But apparently they were gonna make, I guess, milk or something along the lines of that, like as strong as like the webbing or something like that. I have no fucking idea, but they made a spider goat. They made a fucking spider goat.
That's really fucked.
Yeah.
Why? Just that. I mean, spiders suck. But can you imagine a spider goat running at you? Oh, what if you crossbred it with a fainting goat? A screaming fainting goat?
Screaming fainting
It would be the most terrifying yet hilarious thing.
It'd like make a web, scream at you, run, and then fall over.
What if it tried like bolting at you and then it would scream and then just fall over? You have time to get away, so you can chuckle at it like, ha, little bastard.
Terrifying.
But it's fucked.
Another honorable mention is THN 1412, the drug trial. It was made to combat bad things and then ends up fucking doing bad things. And by that, I mean, you go through excessive fucking organ failure. And the whole reason why it passed a clinical trial was that it didn't affect any animals.
Huh.
Yeah, so that's a little fucked up. But yeah, if you want to look up what that is, it's either THN or TGN. Either way, that's fucked up. Russians reattaching the dog heads. I'm sure you've seen that footage on YouTube.
Maybe.
I believe it's on YouTube. They literally have like a severed dog head, and they're trying to bring it back from the fucking dead.
You know, I've seen a lot of fucked up shit from back in the day, like on like fucking rotten.com and shit like that. I don't want to see a pupper.
No, neither do I. I
love
don't like
my
that.
puppers, and I am strongly against pupper violence.
Well, if you're against like animal violence, definitely don't look up Pit of Despair, where they experiment on monkeys to see the psychological effects on them. And it was a failed experiment, so I would not look into that either. The human brain in a mouse, and
Fuck, they put a human brain in a fucking mouse.
I don't know how they would have done that. A mouse is so fucking small, but from what I've come across, they apparently did a test along those lines. Again, didn't look too much into it because it's focusing on the other 7. And then the last honorable mention is the plague as a weapon.
Plague as a weapon.
Yeah, as a weapon, like
Isn't it-
just a bioweapon.
Isn't it? I heard something that like if the plague came out today, like it wouldn't really affect us.
Yes, it's true. We've built up a huge immunity to said things like just throughout the ages, and
At least the bubonic.
I mean,
plague.
it's still around. I mean, I think recently there was one found in Wisconsin, like in a squirrel or something like that. But
Plague squirrel.
no, we have other things to worry about, like ancient viruses coming back. Like let's say if the polar ice caps melt and shit like that, old fucking disease,
Bacteria and shit like
coming
that,
out
viruses.
and affecting us because we have no immunity to it. We have no idea what it is and how it would affect us.
Truth.
So those are other things. So I hope you have had enough time to put down in the comments what you think number 1 was. And I guess we're here. Should I announce it horribly?
I think you should just say it.
Should what? No, stop pointing at the computer, Tim.
I'm pointing at the computer to get you on point.
I am on point.
Now you are, because I pointed.
Don't get off my point. It hurts.
I'm chafing.
Anyway, number 1, Nazi human experiments in World War II.
I think we all saw this coming.
Oh yeah, I mean I did.
I did too.
I mean Nazis are fucked up people.
And of
They're not
course
even
they
people.
did fucked up things.
Of course they do fucked up things. No, the Nazis take everybody out for like picnics and socialize in the community.
Oh, good. This is such a lovely picnic. I hope you brought the schnitzel.
Shut up, Franz.
Ach nein.
Anyway, of course the Nazis are on this list. There's the reason 23 doctors were tried at the Nuremberg doctors' trial, 7 of which were hung. Here's just a quick list of experiments conducted in their concentration camps during World War II. The high-altitude experiments. Sigmund Rocher, or however you say that, and other doctors back in 1942 wanted to find a way to help their pilots who had to eject at high altitudes. So they simulated the experience by putting their victims into low-pressure chambers, some simulating 68,000 feet. They'd record the data as the subject slowly died. It was also noted that Rocher would operate on a victim's brain while they were still alive. 80 of the original 20 operated on died immediately, while the remainder were executed.
Wait, 80 of the original 200.
Yeah, that's what
You said 20.
did I?
Yes.
Oh,
I was like,
I
wait a
don't know
minute.
math, people.
That's a What, you get into fractions? What?
How the fuck do you kill half a person?
How did 80? If 20 people went into it, how did 80 of them die?
The Nazis found a way.
They cloned them.
They went back in time and stopped themselves. I don't know. Freezing. With troops succumbing to the elements in winter, they needed a new way to help their men. Thus brings in the horrible torture of putting their victims into freezing waters to study them as they died. Big shocker. Apparently, when the victim's temperature dropped to 79.9 Fahrenheit, the doctors would attempt to warm the bodies back up by almost any means, even forcing women to sleep with them. Another 80 to 100 people died from this, or so they suspect. How the hell do I say this word? Sulfanilamide? Fuck. Sulfanilamide. That's the word I'm trying to say.
Sulfanilamide?
Sulfanilamide?
Sulfanilamide.
Yeah,
Gotta
that's
go
what he
with that.
said. In an effort to stop infections such as gangrene in the battlefield, they would inflict battle-like wounds to the victim.
Fuck.
Then infect the wound with bacteria. The doctors would make matters worse by rubbing in ground glass or wood shavings into the wound. Not all died by this experiment. Some actually lived. The twins experiment. the attempt to keep the pure German race going, trying to learn the secrets of multi-birth. Joseph Mengele was the man man responsible for this horrific deed. Of the 1,000 twins experimented on, only about 200 survived.
Mengele was a fuck.
He's fucking nuts, dude. Some of the other operations that they ended up doing: poison, tuberculosis, phosgene, bone, muscle, and joint transplantation, sterilization, artificial insemination, seawater experiments, and so on.
Yeah, I think all in all, it's safe to say that Nazis fucking suck. And I think it's sad that I have to say this is a political standpoint right now, but if you are a Nazi, you are a fuck.
Well.
Yes, and I stand by that.
Yes. Yeah, we don't like Nazis.
Fuck.
But yeah, that is the Lucky Sevens. Dark experiments.
Yeah, it's been a interesting ride, if I may say so myself. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, history is pretty dark.
History is very dark.
And apparently atrocities as such as we've read off are still going on. There is no rest for the wicked or its victims. That was an anger burp.
That was the anger burp. Well, so what kind of news do we have to release?
Well, by the time people are hearing this, we'll be looking forward to your upcoming episode on Satanism.
Oh.
By now, if you haven't checked out the Wicca episode, it is the first in a 3-part series that we are doing. Codename Destroying the Misconceptions.
Yeah, we're just trying to put out the facts there. Let's get shit straight.
Yeah, I mean, it all derives from horror stuff, so we just kind of want to, like, make sure people know what the fuck they're actually talking about rather than bashing people who don't necessarily deserve it, and so on and so forth. So,
because let's face it, there's been, as we've done our research into this, there's so many goddamn misconceptions and so many things that even I didn't know.
Yeah, same. But yeah, we've noticed this for many a year and thought it's about time to bring light to these things. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the Wicca episode, check that out. And the continuation of that will be, by the time this comes out, 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
I don't remember. I got to look at the schedule.
Yeah, whatever. You guys will be hearing.
It'll be coming out in September 15th.
Okay, you remember the date. Remember, it's a Wednesday. We keep releasing these on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Barbecue sauce.
Frisbee!
Tiptoe.
I finally found true love.
But yeah, just keep up to date with us. Follow us on Twitter for more information and behind-the-scenes things that we are doing. More lore from within Witches Hill will be released, and as this is the first episode for the Lucky 7's, especially this year, the ones that will be coming up will be much more in line with just the Lucky 7's. So until next time, we are Witches Hill.
See you next time. On the Hill of Witches.
Oh my god, it's so soft and bloody.
Oh, that's a scab.
Witches Hill.